From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big day on Noontime LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over the breaking news that impacts your fourth stimulus and how much you're going to get, but when is the vote? Is the vote going to come sooner than anticipated? That's what some Democrats are calling for. Say, do it right now. We are finished waiting for Republicans. I have all the incredible great news about the call for the vote right away for the fourth stimulus check. Then we go to the breaking news about the fifth stimulus check, not fifth stimulus check, but fifth stimulus package. In the fall, that SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits that would raise your benefits up a lifetime, change your life. But guess what? There would be an additional benchmark of inflation. And the inflationary rate may be a lot higher than the Federal Reserve represented yesterday. That could signal an enormous amount of benefits lifetime. And then we turn to the breaking news that impacts your money across the board. Thousands of dollars land in your bank account, IRS is now delineating. And breaking news just minutes ago, as the Federal Reserve may be going into a new market and may be issuing new regulatory environments for things you need to know. It's a big noontime with exciting great news about thousands of dollars you can get right now. I'll go over those thousands of dollars and some of it landing automatically in your bank account today. This is a major recording, and this is Noontime LALATE. Good noontime, everybody. How you doing? How is the weather where you are? It is clearly sunnier here in Los Angeles today. You can see the sun come into the set. Hope the weather is good where you are. Where are you viewing me, and how is the weather where you currently are? Drop in the comments. I'd love to see where you're tuning in from. This is your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over the breaking news that impacts your fourth stimulus, specifically not just the number of checks, but also when we're over the finish line. Incredible great news breaking as Democrats step up the heat to get it done sooner than later. I have all the great news on this noontime recording. In the second half of this recording, we go over the breaking news about the inflationary number that would raise your benefits on top of the step up for fifth stimulus, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, all incredible great news. We'll go over why this money could change you a lifetime like you've never seen before. And then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money landing automatically in your hands, and some you have to get, and also what's going on with Treasury. The Department of Treasury announces it's going to crack down on people not accounting for earnings on cryptocurrency on their tax returns, as the Federal Reserve announces it too may be going into cryptocurrency. What a big day with a lot of breaking news as IPOs, seasons heating up, and Robinhood says you could buy their stock before anyone else. Wow. Let's get to the breaking news, first starting with fourth stimulus, but make sure you subscribe. This is LALATE, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, financial news across the board. The fastest growing channel and the only one of its time, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Also, like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Let's get to the breaking news right now on that fourth stimulus check. How much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and why you need to know the name Jalapal. First, let's go over the House proposal, and let's go over this graphic. There is that name, Jalapal. I want you to remember that name because it's coming up in just a second, this recording. Jalapal wrote the bill for the House. A monthly stimulus check every month thereafter, continuing for the rest of the pandemic, plus 1 year. And Jalapal, when writing the bill, got 100 plus House Democrats to co-sign the movement to get it out the door, and 50 plus senators saying they're going to do the same thing. Remember that name, Jalapal, because I'm coming back to it in a second. So let's compare the House versus Senate plan. If you're in the live chat just after 11:30 on the West Coast, 1:30 on the East Coast, get ready to vote, House or Senate, but don't vote yet. So the House proposal is a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic every month, plus 1 year. The Senate proposal is a stimulus check from July to December. But while this House proposal would provide more stimulus checks potentially, Let's look at the monthly amount. The House proposal is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. The Senate proposal, the monthly amount is unknown, but word on the street is this. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 a person. But before you vote Senate versus House, let's go back to this graphic. The remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. It's that terminology, the remainder of the pandemic, that is getting major twists every single day this week and will continue. Why? Because some now believe that the pandemic may be over by the time this vote happens in the House and Senate. Why? Because last Thursday, the CDC lifted the mask mandate, saying if you're vaccinated, you can go into buildings and out in public without a mask. Yesterday, New York lifted the mask mandate across the entire state. On June 15th, the entire state of California will lift it as well. Big corporations every single day announce the lifting of the mask mandate as well. Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, CVS, also Ultra Beauty. Day after day, another corporation says if it's not required locally, you don't have to have it. So that could signal that the pandemic legislatively, not for purposes of medicine, may be done by the time of the vote, which means that the House proposal would not be pandemic plus 1 year, just 1 year, 12 months, $13,000 of stimulus checks, compared to the Senate proposal, 6 months and upwards of $12,000, the same amount in half the time. All right, with that, get ready to vote in the live chat, Senate versus House. Which do you now see and like based upon those details? But guess what? I have more breaking details about Jalopal coming up in just a second. But let's go over the other items you need to know about the fourth stimulus check. How, when, and where? Let's go over the details. First, who gets it? You do. So if you got the third stimulus check, you get the fourth stimulus check. If you make less than $75,000, you get the fourth stimulus check. Household, 4 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. When do you get it? In July. Remember, I'm a reporter. I just report the news. I don't make representations. They're the legislators. They make representations. And yesterday, they repeated their representation. The vote is no later than July 4th. That means that you would get the first check in the month of July for the month of July and continuing month after month thereafter. Incredible, great news. There would be no waves of stimulus checks where different people get a check every different day in the month across the month of July. They don't have time to do that. Everyone would get the check in the month of July for the month of July and then in August for the month of August. Is it income? No. Is it taxable? No. Is there a different stimulus check for young adults, adult dependents? No. Everyone's the same. Is it taxable? No. Is it income? No. There you go. Is it taken out for is it taken out for child support? We don't know. This is a two-step, 2-month process, currently underway, currently writing. These are legislators. They don't have press conferences every time they're working on something. They don't tell you how many pages they've written. Already underway, but you are going to get statements from them that are incredible later in this recording. That's your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Later in this recording, we're going to go back to Jalopal and what Jalopal is now doing and what others are doing about the vote. Incredible, great news. But let me give you a preview of what's coming up in the second half of this recording. It's fifth stimulus, and it heats up in September. Again, it is a 2-step, 2-month process. And while the fourth stimulus adds in a stimulus check, the fifth stimulus adds in SSI and SSDI reform. Remember, legislators write the bills, not the president. He has nothing to do with what's in the bill. He only proposes it. And they're proposing SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, and survivor benefits be lifted lifetime. Wow, incredible, great news. But they're going to add an inflationary benchmark. And could the inflationary benchmark be over 5%, which would mean they would raise your benefits up under fifth stimulus and then add in another 5% lifetime? Oh boy, I got all that great, exciting news breaking just at noontime today, and it's coming up in the second half of this recording. Stay with me. But now let's turn to the other big, exciting money that is landing right now. Some of it's automatic, something you have to get, and let's get to number one. When third stimulus passed in January, I told you that I don't want you tracking stimulus check after stimulus check after stimulus check. We ain't doing that, because that was 2020. Before I came on the scene and captivated the entire industry, I said to you that people were just tracking checks. You need to get the money that's owed to you. And this is the money that's owed to you. $5,000 to $25,000 of rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance is now available for you. Landing this week and next week, it's $350 billion that I told you was coming under third stimulus. And let's go get it. It's starting with rent. Get a pen and paper ready because I got a lot of money coming up in this recording. I'm going to go over one at a time. First item is rent. Go get it. It's $5,000 approximately, about 4 to 6 months of rent, and it's available in 6 locations. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your state hall, your state housing authority. Your county hall, and your county housing authority. Each of them is different. Every now and then I have someone jump in the comments and I reached out to one and I was ineligible at one. There's 6 locations to reach out to. They all have different guidelines and different standards, so reach out to each of them until you get a yes. We don't stop at one no, and guess what? There's nonprofits after that, which I haven't detailed in a couple days. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, they also pay money for rent if you get 6 no's, which is very rare. So rent is $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. Then you can get utilities as well, and you can also get homeowners mortgage assistance and homeowners utility assistance. What are the key words you use? Rent assistance because of COVID. Also, Biden Economic Recovery Act. You do not use the word stimulus. And there you go, $5,000 approximately for that. Let's turn to the next item, which is SNAP. If you qualify for a stimulus check, you generally qualify for SNAP. What is SNAP? SNAP is money for food, and it's a fortune. Family of 4 in Hawaii is now getting upwards of about $16,000 a year. Yes, really. Because of 2 executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raised it 15% for 1 year. Can you imagine? So now only 11 minutes of this video, we've gotten $5,000 for rent and upwards of $15,000, $16,000 for SNAP from if you live in Hawaii. Incredible, great news. How do you get SNAP? Reach out to 211. Ask for Department of Agriculture and get connected with them. Every single day I have a viewer reach out to me, say, thank you, LALATE. I got money for SNAP. I got on it. It's life changer. Once you're on SNAP, you're on it. You don't have to apply consistently. You are on it and you are set. And then I have people reach out to me, say, thank you, LALATE. I got the rent. So go get it. Here brings us now to 2 reality checks. Reality check number 1 is that when third stimulus was passed, I told you there's a lot of money available for you that dwarfs the $1,400 third stimulus check. And the money is rent, utilities. So go get it. I called it at the time a purple hawk moment. Hawk, hawk, because you got to get the money as a hawk before everyone else does, because there will be a stimulus stampede. Stimulus stampede, another expression I coined, which refers to people rushing to get the stimulus. It's first come, first serve, which brings me to reality check number 2. And that is, this money is not going to be available again. It's going away. So rent assistance, mortgage assistance, all these items are going away, and they're not coming back under forced stimulus. Even more clear, the Democrats have made very emphatically strong messages that the reason why they provided this rent assistance for you under third stimulus is so that they can get rid of the eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance at the end of third stimulus. That's not coming back under fourth stimulus either. So if you need this money, go get it. And then we have incredible great news about thousands of dollars landing in bank accounts starting right now or in the mailbox. Let's get to them. 2 items. First one, it's upwards of $5,000, as one viewer told me in a private message. Incredible great news. Where is it coming from? Your state. States are returning thousands of dollars back to residents when they had overpaid money before and then asked those residents to return the money. Where's the money coming from? Why is it happening? And how are you going to get it? And when you're going to get it? Let me go over the details. First, it's coming from your state to the bank account you have on file with your state unemployment department. Second, why is it coming? Because the federal government stepped in just days ago, said that states that had overpaid you unemployment benefits, that asked you to return the money to no fault of your own, and you did, made a mistake. They said, the federal government, that the states should have allowed you to keep the money, and have now ordered the federal government has now ordered the states to return the money to you. Incredible, great news. So this is thousands of dollars, or in the case of one viewer, $5,000. Get ready to see it. How do you know when it's going to land? Reach out to your state, because every state has different routing times. All right, let's get to the second landing of money this week and potentially today. And this one comes from the federal government, IRS, or Treasury. First, let's go over how much money it is. Then we're going to go over where you're going to get the money, where it's going to land, or how is it going to land. And then we're going to go over when it's going to land. First, how much? This is the amount of taxes you pay to the federal government on your unemployment benefits. So, for example, let's say your total unemployment benefits in 2020 was $9,000. You paid a $5,000 tax bill, of which $4,000 was your taxes on your unemployment benefits. Well, guess what? You're getting $4,000 back from the federal government. Congratulations. All right, now let's go over how you're getting it. In the mailbox, likely. The only case in which it's not in the mailbox is if on your 2020 tax return you listed a direct deposit account. All right, in the mailbox will be a beige or white envelope. In there will be a beige check. The check will say Department of Treasury or IRS. The payor will be them, the payee will be you, and the subject line will be tax refund. All right, let's go over when you're going to get it. 3 phases, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. First, phase 1, single filers, no dependents, nothing complicated on the tax return. You've already started getting those payments already. Congratulations, you're getting them through the rest of this week. Phase 2 are single filers with more complicated returns, like dependents and refunds. You're starting the end of this week, going into next week. And phase 3, joint filers, husband and wife, the end of this month. Yes, everyone's getting this money by the end of this month. So incredible, great news. Which brings me back to Jalapa. You heard about Jalapa early in this video when I was talking about the monthly stimulus checks, the House proposal, and you saw this graphic. Jalapa wrote the bill. Jalapa wrote the bill for monthly stimulus checks for purposes of the House proposal and introduced the bill. And in introducing the bill, had 100+ House Democrats saying, when we call the vote, we're putting in monthly stimulus checks. Well, Jalapal's at it again with incredible great news. And if you're a member of this channel, you got the PDF the last 24 hours. Here it is. Jalapal wrote a letter with a support of nearly 100 House Democrats. 2, Leader Pelosi and Speaker Schumer saying, do the vote now. Don't wait around any longer. Wow, this is exciting, great news. The letter basically says, without talking about any substance of the deal provisions of the fourth stimulus, says, we've waited too long. What's going on? We're almost finished with writing the legislation in the subcommittees. Call the vote. We're done. Get it out the door. Stop waiting. Incredible great news. And the signatures go page after page after page from all these Democrats. Wow. And as if the letter wasn't enough, then came the interviews. The interviews on the record, congressional leaders, both Senate, yes, Senate, and House Democrats came out and said, we're not waiting any longer. It's time to call the vote. What are they referring to? They're referring to the following. When the president introduced the fourth stimulus package, and at least his proposal, of which the House is going to add in stimulus checks, of which the Senate has vowed to add in stimulus checks, he asked for Republican responses. They gave him $500 billion, a fraction of his offer. He said no. Then a week later, they came back with a counteroffer, $500 again, and then another counteroffer, $500 again. The president continues to ask for counteroffers, and they're not moving. So that's why these Democrats have said, we've had enough. And let's look at what they're saying. Christian Gillibrand, Democrat out of New York, senator, when asked whether they should wait around any longer for the Republicans who stay at $500 billion, answer is absolutely not, because we may lose our coalition for human infrastructure. I do not think the White House should relegate recovery to the judgment of Mitch McConnell, because he will not function in good faith. So I just think it's a terrible political misstep, said Senator Gillibrand. Then Representative Ruben Gallego, Democrat out of Arizona, says Republicans are not even being players, and we should just move on with the reconciliation without them. Incredible, great news. Then we have the comment from Representative Mark Pocan, Democrat out of Wisconsin. He says that at what point do the Republicans seriously come to the table? If Republicans don't come to the table, it doesn't mean we Democrats don't serve the meal. I love that. Incredible, great news. And then we have Senator Majority Whip Dick Durbin, who makes it very clear that you can talk with Republicans, but you got to finish the reconciliation. You got to call the vote. Democrats ought to have a timely negotiation with Republicans, but be prepared to finish the reconciliation. There we go. And then finally, Representative Ro Khanna, one of the big advocates for multiple stimulus checks, said, I think we should move forward with our bill. And away they go to the vote. Incredible news coming out yesterday, and it is far from over. Here's what you need to know about what's going to happen over the next few days. The President of the United States internally has an agreement among his legislators that for purposes of optics, which is purely how it looks to the media, he will continue to have lunches, yes, lunches, with Republicans day after day, all the way up to Memorial Day, saying, do you have a counteroffer? No, $500 billion. Thank you. I'm not going to do that. See you again tomorrow. Hi, nice lunch today. Have a new offer? No, still $500 billion. Okay, see you tomorrow. He's going to do that every single day, all the way up to Memorial Day. And then he's going to say, I'm done having lunches. But in the meantime, those legislators, which I detailed already in the letter, and Kohana and everyone else, that they are finishing the legislation. They are ready for the vote. And then when the president's finished with his lunches, they're ready to call the vote. Incredible, great news. That's your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Meantime, there's other breaking news going over all across the board right now. I have that coming up in the second half of this recording. But first, if you need help with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance, then reach out to the volunteers. Then the community page. Where's the community page? It's in the description of this video. Go to the description of this video. Look for the emoji of a house. It sends you to the webpage, news.lalate.com/community. It has a series of cats on the page. Reach out to the volunteers. They're viewers just like you. They can help you with rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, also SNAP, and internet. The volunteers are viewers just like you who step forward and can help you get this money. And I'll be back in 60 seconds. Stay with me. I have big news coming up in the second half of this recording about fifth stimulus and more about fourth stimulus and the breaking news out of the Federal Reserve and Robinhood. Stay with LALATE for more. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA. How are you? How is it where you are? As Extreme, user Extreme just said in the live chat, there's 1,600 people in the live chat right now. Hit that like button. I want over 1,600 likes right this very moment. I love that, Extreme. Thank you so much. Hit that like button right now if you're watching live. Also, tell me where you're watching from and how's the weather. It's getting warmer here in Los Angeles, sunny, but it's great. This is LALATE, your only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel, live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. I'm next back with you on afternoons LALATE at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, followed by evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock. I'll have big updates across the board on your stimulus, exciting big news. And if you miss mornings and early mornings, it's now archived on the channel. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. Let's do it. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member to get access to the PDFs like the Jalapa letter. And with that, let's get to the fifth stimulus. Incredible great news about fifth stimulus, which is far from over in the discussion. Why? Because of this benchmark inflation. We're going to be talking about this inflationary rate over the next few days because guess what? It will change your life. Let's go over that fifth stimulus package. When and how and where. Let's go over broadly what it is, and then we'll go over the numbers. So fifth stimulus is a two-step, two-bill process starting in September that adds in that SSI and SSDI reform. What is it? It would raise your benefit limits, remove the asset cap, add inflationary benchmark, then remove the marriage penalty and remove the income exclusion. All right, let's go over how these numbers are playing out and what's the breaking news today impacting it. So the way this stimulus works is they're first going to raise up your benefits. Who's you? It's you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or SSA, they're going to raise your benefits up one big time. That's what they represent. Then they're going to add an inflationary benchmark. What's a benchmark? It means that every December you get a letter saying, hi, next year your benefits are going up $20 because of the benchmark, or $30 because of the benchmark. What will be the new benchmark? Inflation. Everyone knows what inflation is. The only problem is people are having problems figuring out what the inflation rate may be between now and December. Remember, it's the inflation rate in December, not the inflation rate now. And where is this heading? Well, here's what's at issue. Last Friday, Jeremy Siegel, professor of economics at Wharton School of Business, said he thought the inflationary rate could be 20%. Then we had one of the Fed heads out of Georgia 1 day ago, come out and say, I'm not going to tell you the inflationary rate, I'm not going to predict it, but I can show you my growth rate. And we're currently at a 4% growth rate, which is very, very high, he said, out of Georgia. That's his indicator. He said, but in December, we'll be at 10.25%. Wow, that's nearly 3% where we are right now, 300% from where we are now. Then we had an analyst on broadcast media this morning say to news, you know what, I don't think inflation is going to be 2-3%, and we could easily go to 4, 5, 6% inflation. It would be totally fine. He said 10 or higher is a big whole different ball wax. So wow, let's say inflation is 6%. Let me show you how that's incredible great news and life-changing. First, fifth stimulus would raise your benefits up one big time. Then in December, they would apply a inflationary benchmark. And let's say for this example, it's 6%. You would step up an additional 6%. But guess what? That's not just for this year, it's lifetime. Because benefits step up or stay the same. Every year they step up or stay the same. So if next year it's 0, you don't step down. If for 5 years it's 0, you don't step down. You'll still stay at that plus 6%. If it's plus 6% this year and next year it's another 2%, then you'll jump up another 2%. It's incredible, great news. We'll be tracking more about where the inflationary rate will be in the next few weeks because guess what? We're far from over in this discussion and figuring out where that inflationary number will be. But at the moment, it's not looking like 2%. All right, now let's go over the other items of the fifth stimulus that are absolutely incredible, great news. And the first one is removing the asset cap. And you're going to need that when those stimulus checks land. So that is a 1980s law that's going to be eliminated, which says you cannot hold more than about $3,000 in hand, going away. Then they're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you cannot work and also stay on benefits. Now, if you want to work, you don't have to. You could work and get $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty. The marriage penalty is really horrific. If you're married, you lose benefits. If you're not married, you want to get married but can't because you're fear of losing benefits. So now the marriage penalty would go away. Love will win, and you'll be able to marry your I'm messing that up. Your long-time love interest and not fear losing your benefits. Love will win under fifth stimulus. Incredible, great news. So when would this become law? Again, it's a two-step, two-bill, two-month process. It starts in September and will likely be done around October-ish. So you see the benefits hitting your account in November. Now, in recent days, you see me not really go over the other items of fifth stimulus because there's not enough time in a 30-minute recording. As a member of this channel, you get access to the PDF, but I want to broadly remind you that under fifth stimulus, I said to you that there's money in there for hazard pay. There's money in there for single workers, single individuals who work. There's money in there for reducing your insurance if you're a senior. There is money in there for a lot of walks of life. And while the President of the United States calls the fifth stimulus the Children's Bill or the Family Act or whatever, it has a lot of money for a lot of different people. All right, let's go back now to fourth stimulus. And fourth stimulus is absolutely incredible, great news, but it's also impacted by the other items that are going on in the economy. We now learn that this economy is a little bit more unstable than we initially thought, and that the indicators across the board are going in different directions in just 24 hours. The new jobless claims number was released this morning. And if you've been with me for 40 plus weeks, you see me detail that every single day. Before the pandemic, new unemployment claims per week were 200,000 announced every Thursday morning. During the pandemic, week 1 million claims. Then it stayed over 1 million new claims per week for 21 weeks, as covered on this channel. Then it started to fall to 800, then 600. Where did it come in this morning? 400,000. 400,000, the slowest number of new jobless claims since the start of the pandemic. Great news. But then there was another number released, the number of continuing unemployment claims. It grew. So ultimately, it's very much a mixed bag in looking at these numbers. The media reaction when looking at the unemployment numbers was that it suggested that FPUC was not preventing people getting back to work, that just people were at work and lost their job. That's why there was 400,000 new unemployed people who had never been unemployed during this pandemic. But what's important to understand is that when looking at stimulus checks, the great news is that Democrats and Republicans universally agree that stimulus checks are needed because it gets you caught up in your bills. When we're looking at the next couple of weeks, it's important to understand, and that's why I had it as a reality check early in this video, that certain stimulus items from third stimulus are going away. They're not coming back. So rental stimulus, mortgage assistance, eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance are going away. They're not coming back under fourth stimulus. Unemployment stimulus is not coming back either. So FPUC, PEUC, PUA is likely not coming back either. But for purposes of stimulus checks, legislators, both Republicans and Democrats, understand that you need stimulus checks because it's concerning past due bills. People are back at work and they still have debts. They can't get caught up on their bills. And that's why the notion of a stimulus check has even been supported by Republican governors who say, I want you to get back to work, but I know you got bills and you can't get caught up on those bills. So here you go. Here is a stimulus check. And that's why when you look at the Senate versus House proposal, the Senate proposal makes the most sense because it's the fastest and biggest cash confusion. If the pandemic's roaring to an end, then you need to get caught up on your bills, whether you're a single individual, whether you're a married couple, whether you work or you're retired. You need to get caught up on your bills, and stimulus checks does it. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 potential for the senators, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. House proposal, pandemic plus 1 year, $2,000 the first month over and then $1,000 thereafter. Which one do you like? Senate versus House. Senate versus House. Drop in the comments right now. Ultimately, for stimulus has the stimulus checks with universal support from those Democrats because it gets you caught up in your bills. The other breaking news, as you need to know at noontime, coming from the financial markets, are the following. Number one, the Department of Treasury, IRS, has announced that it's asking the president for additional allocation to increase its enforcement of people who are making money on cryptocurrency but not declaring the income. There's a big concern that a lot of people are using applications that are not actively monitored by IRS, getting major returns on cryptocurrency and not declaring the income. In fact, some tax returns, especially in California, has a special line that says, did you trade cryptocurrency this year? They actually ask you to answer the question, yes or no. Number one. Number two, we're learning now from the Federal Reserve that they're going to release a notes next month in which they're going to explain their potential move into a federal cryptocurrency offering. This would mean a cryptocurrency, a coin administered by the Federal Reserve, that the Federal Reserve would regulate and you could buy and sell as a federal cryptocurrency. It's not a unique concept. It's being explored internationally across the board in other central banks. Third, the major trading application Robinhood made a major announcement today that shocked Wall Street, and this was the announcement. Generally, when a company goes public on the initial public offering on a stock exchange like the NASDAQ or the Amex, the American Stock Exchange, or New York Stock Exchange, you have to buy the stock after it opens. You have to wait. So the initial public offering price may be $20. You have to wait an hour, you have to wait, and then suddenly you get it at $50. You can never get it at the IPO price. Well, Robinhood, for the first time ever, was launched today a new system that allow you to buy initial public offering stocks at the IPO price, which could save you $10, $20, $30, $40 a stock when it goes public. In the case of Coinbase, for example, initial public offering of Coinbase had it nearly under $200, but when it went public at $300 and pulled down. So you can make a lot of money with this major news announcement today. And guess what? That's how we do it on this channel, making you money. I'll be back with you on Afternoons LATE at 1 at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I got a big show with you for that. And then we go into Evenings LATE. 4 stimulus was covered in this recording. Those monthly stimulus checks starting in the month of July. Then we covered 5th stimulus, the SSI and SSDI reform that would kick in September, go out the door in October. Then we covered the big money that you can get automatically, some coming from the federal government, some coming from the state. And the big money I want you to get right now, rent, utilities, food, internet, reach out to the volunteers right after this video. If you're having problems, find it as well. And with that, have a beautiful noontime. I hope your weather is good where you are. This is LATE. Make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers. Next step, 1 million. Bring us there. Like this video. 3,000 likes, as Extreme said during the commercial break. Get everyone in the live chat to subscribe, to like this video right now. And consider becoming a member. Get access to the Jalapal letter and everything else, from the bills to the legislation that you need to know. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LATE for more.